Your ability to manage or regulate your emotions can change your entire coaching process. This week, I am hosting a coach week where I am showing different mind body modalities, different approaches and techniques to help coaches master their practice, their skill set, to understand like the different layers of coaching from mindset to the subconscious and unconscious, releasing unresolved trauma, the mind body healing technique, emotional processing, lots of fun stuff that I have been studying and practicing and teaching for the last few years. So I've been a coach since 2012. And this emotional regulation or emotional mastery is likely the most prominent thing about good, great, competent coaching. If you are regulated as the coach, if you have emotional mastery and you know how to handle yourself, then whatever the client says or does, you are not going to feel this trigger or this need to fix or have an agenda. When you have emotional mastery, meaning you have mastered, you have emotional intelligence, you understand how to regulate the drop of a dime because you have access to the nervous system. You understand somatics and the deeper layers of what's going on in the cells and tissues of your body, because that is where those triggers are. And so if your client says or does something that is unresolved in you, then it could trigger a response or a reaction. And very often, if the coach has not mastered this, they will try to control or change the circumstance for their client. This is not healthy. It is not healthy. It is your job, your duty as the coach to master this for yourself so that you can hold this space. Because it is not right for us to have an agenda or to want to manipulate things according to our agenda or our ideas or our beliefs. That is not coaching, guys. That's actually some sort of emotional manipulation, or it is like you're in the position of authority in these coaching sessions. And what you say, do, and think can impact someone who's in a vulnerable state. So you're really understanding the nervous system, unresolved trauma, things that trigger you, and things that you react to. It's very important to know this. So get coaching for yourself, regulate yourself, master yourself. I call this self-regulation. That's one way to look at it. And that just means you have the ability to regulate your nervous system at any point in time. You understand the tools, you understand the steps, and you also understand the concept around what is creating this and what to do about it. I also consider this self-mastery, and that just means you know how to master your mind, you know how to regulate your body, and you are in complete control of the way that you react and respond, the things that you say and do. And it's just not clean. If you are not regulated and you are triggered and you are trying to change the way that your client thinks or acts or believes, it's inappropriate. Your job as a coach is hold the space and to ask questions and to provide safety and ease. Safety and ease, not probe and prod. Now, sometimes there is a little tap, tap, tap. Because we do want to break through some of these shells, these protective layers of resistance. And as I was talking about this today, like I said, we're doing Coach Week, and it is just free coaching that I offered. And I'm actually teaching some of these concepts. There's a very specific 5-step process that I created that is about consciously creating anything you want. But first, you have to understand how to come to presence, how to regulate yourself. And then you have to know the process to unveiling and understanding what's creating the dysregulation. And then you have to know how to pivot. So once you're present and you understand what's going on, and then you have mastery or control or regulation, then you can actually do something different. That's the first 3 steps. Once you have mastered those first 3 steps, and sometimes it takes clients 6 months to 2 years to do that. I mean, it does not surprise me at all when someone says, I have been working with this client, it's been 9 or 10 months, and we're still on step 1. I'm like, I believe it. I get it. It took me years to master this. And then to put it in a process took more years. And then to actually master and teach it in a simple, applicable way took another few years. So this has been long-term in the process. I've made a lot of mistakes because I assumed others understood what I understood. I assumed that they knew how to regulate or that they were regulated. I thought everyone thought and saw the way that I did and did the work that I did. And you know what? That's on me. I take responsibility for that because I did not know what I did not know. I did not know that this was not mainstream or understood. And I was working with practitioners. I was working with psychotherapists and pharmacists and chiropractors and physical therapists, massage therapists. So I had the assumption that we had the same understanding about the nervous system, about the neurology. But these years have revealed to me that not everybody has the understanding. They have book knowledge, they have information, but they don't have integration and application. Super important to understand. So if you are a coach and you get triggered, or you are trying to encourage your client to think a certain way or believe a certain way, and you're not questioning for them to be an authority, then I'm going to ask you to question yourself. What is the agenda? What is your opinion that you need them to know or you want them to adopt? Is that yours or is that theirs? Are you willing to question them? And do you have the ability to self-regulate so that you can just hold the space for whatever it is that they believe and they think and they want without your opinion? You do not get to impose your opinion. That is not coaching. That's advice giving, or maybe you call it something else. Maybe it's friendship or consulting. But coaching is bringing out the brilliance in your client. There are a list of very valuable questions that I teach my coaches in coach training, and that we're reviewing some of them in Coach Week. If you happen to be there, I would love to hear your feedback on what you're getting from that. We also do a 10-week intensive, and that has been very interesting for the coach to go through that process themselves. It is a personal journey. But once I take them through that personal journey, we also explain like exactly what to do to help someone else. So I love that. It's like an interim, but mostly the most valuable thing that I offer is personal responsibility, self-mastery, truly understand who you are as a person, not who you think you are, not who you were told to be, but who are you first and foremost before the coach, before the teacher, before the position that you are holding. Who are you, the person? And can you separate your you-ness from the client? Can you separate your beliefs, your agendas, your culture from theirs? That's something that you may want to work on to improve your skill set if you answered no. So let me just take you through one little simple process on how to self-regulate. If you find yourself triggered in a coaching call, squeeze your toes. Just squeeze your toes. You can do it right now. That's going to bring your focus and attention down into your body. Squeeze your toes as tight as you possibly can. And then if you want to add on to that, you can even squeeze your calves. You can pull your belly button in. Can move your shoulders and take a deep breath. You'll do this 2 or 3 times. When you forget to breathe, just squeeze your toes to remind yourself again. Just takes a few seconds. You're still holding space for the client, but you're not reacting. You're not trying to get rid of the discomfort that has come up in you. Instead, you want to just squeeze and hold and breathe. You might do a little bit of tapping. The quickest way is just to breathe and find a little movement in the body. You can just stay here. You can take your client through this process with you because it's going to help them regulate and know how to regulate themselves. Because the quicker your client understands what's going on in the neurology in their nervous system, the way that this chemical is flushing through their body, this chemical that is signaling unsafety, the sooner they understand that, the more you will be able to coach them on what they want, because they will have the ability to get present and to pause. Many, many people don't know how to pause. We've never been taught that. And a lot of people don't even know what it's like to be coaching and don't even understand. Matter of fact, I've talked to several people who think it is people giving them advice and telling them what to do, like counseling, someone just listening and bringing up all their old stuff. That is not at all what I think coaching is. I do not want to waste my time or money on that. I've done years of that. It did not help. But what we do in integrative mind body coaching instead is go through this very specific 5 steps. I gave you the top 3 or the first 3 steps today. So if you just practice those, I'll keep adding on here. You can come into the community where we do some practice calls. You can chime in. You can come be a fly on the wall. You can kind of see what's going on in there. You can ask questions or just reply to one of my emails or comment on a social media post and say, I would like to get a feel or get a taste for what you do that is different. I am a coach, or I want to be a coach, and I am not regulated. I have a lot of anxiety, I have imposter syndrome, and I'm really worried or concerned that I won't be able to help someone get results. So if that is you, I invite you to email or comment or find me on social media. I'm all over everywhere. Wherever you're listening to this at, there will be some form of contact. And let's work on regulating you, because it is probably your most powerful skill set out of everything else. The ability to self-regulate and take personal responsibility and hold space for yourself first, so that you can then hold space for someone else. And that's one of the things I love about coaching, is if you are present and willing, you will get amazing transformations just from being the coach, because we're all mirrors for each other. Your clients are going to bring up the stuff that needs to be addressed in you to the degree that you agree, to the degree that you agree. That's where these triggers are coming from. This unresolved trauma that's like trapped in our body, these imprints, they get pinged. Ding, 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 ding. And they come up, and then you get this chemical release, and then your mind starts doing things. There's lots of crazy stuff going on. What you think, you'll eventually say. What you say, you'll eventually do. What you do, you will become. That's just principles and laws and understandings of humans on planet Earth, the way that it works. Nothing to argue about. This has nothing to do with the truth, whether it's my truth, your truth, or anyone else's. It's just really understanding the mind, the body, the brain, the nervous system. I call this your neurology. It's just an accumulation of all of this, and the way that we move through life in or out of control, in response or in reaction. I happen to be a huge lover of coaching. It's changed my life. It's changed my health. And for thousands of people, between my coaches and myself and our clients and people who listen to the podcast and who we've been working with for years, we just get the most positive feedback of the benefits that they are receiving in their health, wealth, and relationships. Because if you can control your mind, if you can control your body, you can control your relationships, your bank account, your living arrangements, your environment, life in general. And that's what it's about: gaining power and control, so that you can create what you want consciously, because you are creating regardless. You are the creator anyway. The problem is I was creating subconsciously. I was not creating on purpose. That is the difference. All right. Have an amazing week. I hope to hear from you or see you in one of our trainings or classes.